But I don't know. Oh, cutscene. Uh-oh, the door's locked. It's a trap.
The security's been activated. It's locked tight.
It's not like, we want to go back that way, right?
Well, only one way to go. Forward.
Right.
Why is the game forcing us to turn to this area, to turn onto this side? Well, the door is locked tight, so I guess that is that. What the hell? Don't give up. There's a way, Ishihara. It's a dead end, huh?
No boy. Looks like a dead end.
Uh-oh.
Guess he means business.
How can we, get out then?
A dead end?
In other words, we're trapped in here.
No. Well, I guess that's that.
I guess this is the end.
Huh? What's the matter? You're a guy, aren't you? It's too early to throw in the towel. Oh, I know.
What is it?
Would you... Well, would you like to hear my story?
Sure.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Took you a while to actually say something important.
Long ago.
Or interesting.
There was a brilliant scientist who discovered, well, the secret of interaction. That is, how humans connect emotionally. The hidden ability to communicate without words. Way in the past,
Without
people
words.
could have connected with each other using that power. So a bunch of really smart scientists got together to study the idea. They thought if they could reawaken this power in everybody, we wouldn't have to use words to understand one another. They concluded that it'd make the world a better place.
Telepathy?
There were wars at that time. People argued and fought over little things and big things alike. Everything was a point of contention, and people grew tired of it. The whole world was unanimous in supporting the project. Using a machine they called Glass
Project
Cage,
Glass Cage.
humans
AIM.
sent a signal around the world to try and trigger the latent empathy faculty in people's heads. This would enable everyone to naturally harmonize with one another.
End all conflict. Huh.
After that, what happened?
Well, everybody was excited. Now that they could convey exactly what was in their hearts, all sorts of misunderstandings and ill will would vanish overnight. That's what they thought. The entire world was bubbling with hope. Everyone believed it was the dawn of a new era. They believed and believed and smiled themselves to sleep. But then, the next morning, no one woke up.
Huh?
They slept and stayed like that forever. That's how they all died.
What was the cause? Was it the experiment?
And you think it's happening again?
Yeah. That girl? She's gonna be the catalyst for it.
Catalyst?
Her heart will make the connection. And connect with everybody else on Earth. If it succeeds.
What if it doesn't work?
I told you. It'll be worse this time. Not a single soul will escape.
How do you know that?
And guess what? The first time around, I was the catalyst.
Really?
But, Sai, I don't get it. How did you end up as the catalyst?
Don't look at me. I have no idea. I lived a typical ordinary life. And then one day, they forced me to take all these tests. Before I knew what was going on, they decided to use me. They plugged all these cords into my head, made me take strange medicines. It was all very weird. I'm telling you, in all my days, I'd never felt such intense pain. It happened every day. More experiments. They didn't care at all how I felt. But there was this guy. He had a heart. Sometimes he'd slip me chocolates and candy. He'd even stop by and ask me if I was doing okay. And also, he thanked me nicely.
I see. So you and that guy, well, you were like friends.
Yeah, just like you and
He
Crow.
cracked me up. I mean, I wouldn't exactly call Shin and I friends.
Shin?
If I had to label us, we were...
That's a cat.
Wait a minute. How'd that cat get in here? The door's still locked shut.
And the exit is blocked with rubble.
Quick! After him! He might lead us to a way out!
Go get that cat! Follow the cat's cries to find the exit. Where can we find that exit, though? Alright. Before we go grab that pussy cat, let's go ahead and... there was an item of yours that I actually got.
I'm tired.
Just before I save and end my session, and I thought we might as well go and listen to it together. Guess whose item is gonna be of yours? Take a guess. Well, feel free to try keep guessing until I actually get it. Yeah, we got Orange Bill Bisque. Let's go and listen to it.
Everyone in town called the old writer who lived in this house a weirdo. The house was old-fashioned, and the walls seemed weighted with history. So little care and upkeep had been done to the place, it wouldn't be a stretch to call it a dump. The front door was always open, and not because it wasn't locked, but because there was no lock at all.
Damn.
Some would think that an invitation to burglars, but the place was such a mess that you'd lose all interest in stealing the moment you stepped inside.
Damn. This guy's poor, huh?
The house reflected its owner, an oddball, aged and in disarray. And this day, that oddball writer was laying in the middle of his hallway. For a moment I thought he was dead, but every once in a while, his finger would twitch, betraying signs of life. The bones in the back of his hands stood out, gnarled under paper-thin skin, but his slicked back hair looked young. The black framed glasses he habitually wore had stayed on, even after his fall. He'd probably worn those glasses so long that they were a part of his very being.
Sounds like an eccentric person.
And there he lay, weaving my way through the filth and the clothes and the furniture. I entered the house, and he didn't even notice.
Bisque!
He called my name in a gravelly voice. With each call, my body would shiver with surprise, and the bell would ring.
Your name? So that's you? You are Bisk?
It was a refreshing sound. The old man must have heard it too. He immediately leapt off the floor and turned his back to me.
Not another step.
The man almost spat out.
I don't want you coming near me.
And with that, he went back to the mountain of papers that buried what might have once been a desk. His hand never stopped moving as he scratched at his head. Believe it or not, he'd call out, drop to the floor, and do it all again.
Weird.
I was thoroughly baffled. And so I sat in the corner of the writer's room until night fell. The bell at my neck continued to tinkle lightly as I tilted my head. Can this man truly be Bisk's family? I came to check up on him every few days, but each time he'd act just as wild and nonsensical. When he wasn't throwing himself on the floor, he was completely immersed in his writing.
So, I don't think she's Bisk. Like, she's imitating another girl. I mean, the usual stuff. We don't know who she is still.
Disturbed by his unnatural behavior, I tried my best not to allow my bell to ring, and so I stayed nestled in the corner until I finally heard the sound of a pen sliding across the desk.
Started to write?
Phew.
Or did he finish writing?
A loud sigh was immediately followed by a loud thud. He'd fallen backwards off his chair.
Finally, finished.
Finished what?
The way he breathed those words sounded so unlike his usual crazed tone.
What was he writing?
I lifted my head, and the bell chimed to him gently. With his back still on the floor, he let out a low moan.
Oh, Bisk. Bisk, my dear.
I was sure he'd yell at me to stay away again today, but instead he just lifted his thin, ghost-like arm and gestured to me. Just as I neared him, with my careful, steady steps, he suddenly grabbed me by the scruff of my neck and dragged me down with him.
Oh.
At first I went stiff with fear, but then I heard the beating of his heart. He gently closed his eyes and petted me.
Ah, Bisk, is that you? You've gotten so much thinner since I last saw you.
His bony hands were rough, but he petted me softly. As I sat there, unable to answer, the beating of his heart became softer and softer. He continued to coo at me gently.
Finally, I'm able to sleep.
His last words sounded more like he was speaking them from a dream. As the hand on me never wavered, I finally realized. My doubts were cleared. I understood now that this was the orange-belled Bisk's family. And as I gently closed my eyes, I could feel the sound of my own heartbeat, slowly melting free of its ice. I am Bisk. Bisk with her orange bell. The foster child who brings peaceful slumber to the master writer, whom everyone called crazy.
Interesting. I didn't hear about this, like when I got of yours, I just, skipped the whole scene, so I decided to actually hear it on recording. Yeah, with you guys. So, yeah, that's it. I didn't even store this one after I saved it. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Alright, now we have a cat to find. She ran away there, right? Is she here? Maybe what I need to do is just try and tease her like that. I don't see any cats. Oh, there's a hole here. Wouldn't even bother checking this area?
I found it! The cat's meowing on the other side.
If you crouch down, you should be able to fit.
Here goes nothing.
Alright, well, we found a path. Wouldn't even bother to check this area. Alright. I guess that's how we get to the other side. Am I waiting for the plot to uncover? Alright, well, let me check this one too. Oh, he didn't say anything for some reason. That's weird. Usually he would comment and say something after we get into, stay in a bonfire. I still need to find that cat? Since the cat is gonna be there, might as well check this area. A journey begins with one step. No, what's up? Don't mind me. Just here. Oh. Might actually have to kill these. Let's check that. We got him. We got them all. We got another mystery item. So, what's the deal with this? Huh. I thought we'd be able to interact with that. Maybe later. Maybe later. We'll be able to actually go there. Should I backtrack? No, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue on. The cat should be here. That's a cat. Cat!
It's the same cat from before.
What? Well, ran away again. Follow the cat to reach the exit. Really? Do we need to follow the cat? Over here? Or over here? It went there. Alright. So let's check this area then. just gonna pick this up and skedaddle. Yeah, no need to waste our time trying to fight these enemies. I don't know if there are even a new type of enemy, like new robot enemies.
There he is.
He, she.
How did he get here in the first place? Wait!
You kind of stopped. That cat kind of stopped. Meow. Meow. Is that how you knew that he is a he? He's not saying meow. He's saying no. 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 Stop it. Whoa. Another mystery item. Alright, guys. Sorry to bother you. Sorry to bother you. Is it gonna be there? Is the cat going to be there? It's definitely. It's gonna lead to the bonfire, so might as well check this area. Grab whatever there is. Only this item. Alright. Those are mystery items. Alright. Let's go ahead and check these items in the nearest bonfire. Up north. The one you await will not come. Alright. Before we venture, let's go ahead and check the items that we got.
I better warm up. I see.
I see. Lightstone. Baby sock.
Though you're still so small, you'll soon be born. So this message is for you.
Baby shark do 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 do. Baby shark do 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 do.
There may come a
Baby
day
suck.
when you'll curse being born into this world. You'll wonder what you did to deserve this.
Whoa.
And you'll probably have plenty of bitter words to tell me.
Come on, it's not that bad.
But I don't think I'll be around by then to listen to your complaints.
Well, not unless he was born, you know, past the 80s. Because if you're not an 80s kid, your life sucks.
I want you to know how truly sorry I am. I just want you to believe this. No matter what happens, all we wanted was for you to be happy.
A ledger.
To-do list. 1. Eat a whole cake by myself.
Oh,
2. Share a meal with my family.
but not the
3.
cake.
Visit all the friends I can. 4. Read all the books I've wanted to. 5.
That's
Buy
still
the
on my
clothes
list.
I always dreamed of.
Reading the books that I want to read.
6. Make up with that certain somebody.
Ooh. Who is he? Who is that certain somebody? Silver Bill Chris.
The
Christine?
silver bell wasn't a particularly outstanding decoration, but it did ring the most beautifully. I'd always wondered what kind of home such a lovely bell had come from. It belonged to an old woman who lived alone without relatives, in a large mansion I'd never seen before.
Madam, it's time for supper. Thank you, dear.
Madam, the lilies in the garden have bloomed. I've put them in this vase.
Vase? Vase?
What a lovely scent.
Madam, it started raining. Allow me to close the windows.
Yes. And draw the curtains, too.
No, you don't like watching the rain?
The old woman was waited on hand and foot by her servants. She'd rely on their help as she sat idly in her chair, listening to her favorite music. She'd even ask them to change out the records. But most of the servants seemed to genuinely adore their employer. But there was one thing the old woman would ask several times a day.
That is?
Excuse me, but could you call Chris here for me?
Later that same day,
Oh, where is Chris?
and again even later,
Please find Chris for me.
though normally obedient, this one request was always met with hesitation.
She have Alzheimer's. She forgot that this Chris person is no longer alive. He died.
Madam, Chris is already...
The maids would start cautiously. "Oh yes, you're quite right," the old woman would say, cutting them off.
She's not with us anymore, is she? I'd nearly forgotten.
She'd murmur with a nod, but not a few hours later, she'd ask the same questions again. She had them stop her favorite record.
Oh, wherever could my darling Chris be?
One rainy night, the mansion was in an uproar.
What happened?
Madam? Madam!
The servants dashed through the halls in a frenzy. Finally, one of the maids shouted in despair.
Why can't I find her cane?
Though it wasn't too cold outside, the sheets of rain continued to pour relentlessly.
She couldn't have gone outside. Could she?
Oh, she left?
A chill passed over the gathered servants before they set out. They put on their coats and called for help outside. I tore my eyes from them and made for the rain-drenched town. Amidst the downpour, I smelled the sweet fragrance of Lily. In the back lane of a park, far from the mansion, I made out the figure of the old woman. She was surrounded by a crowd who moved and gabbed around her.
Come on, lady, you'll catch your death out here. Maybe you should see the police.
The old woman's shoes and designer clothes were soaked through. A man tried taking her by the hand, but the old woman refused to budge, her face adamant. Fed up with her antics, the men finally left, leaving her behind. I cautiously stepped just into her field of vision, and without saying a word, rang my silver bell. It rang clear through the rain. The old woman raised her head sharply in surprise, her blurry eyes looking at me.
Chris?
Retfield?
The old lady rasped. I rang the bell again in a nod, and then turned around.
Have a nice day. Stop ruining the mood.
Chris, wait! Wait for me!
Her cane clicked as she followed me. I may not be able to carry her all the way to the mansion, but it'd be enough to bring her to her servants. I stopped often to look over my shoulder, to make sure I didn't lose her.
These don't look like designer shoes at all.
The sound of that beautiful bell was a beacon. At last, one of the servants noticed the old woman and shouted, "Madam!" As she ran towards her, the old woman bent down to scoop me up and held me, trembling. The servants weren't able to hide their surprise, seeing how much the late Chris had changed upon her return. Not one of them said that I wasn't Chris. Because the old woman called me so, the maids nodded in obedience, just glad that their beloved employer had returned home safe. I am Chris. Chris with her silver bell. I'm the tiny, adorable Chris, loved by her grandmother in this grand mansion.
Well, that's the story of Chris. Pink Bell Maria 1.
I've gained so much. Gentle hands and many, many new names.
Oh, is that her finally?
Mondays, Henri. Tuesdays, Fleur. Wednesdays, Sylvia. Thursdays, Lot. Fridays, Bisque. Saturdays, Chris. And for just one day, I'm no one else but myself. It was supposed to be revenge. Revenge for the deceased girls who'd led a better life than I. With vengeance and blasphemy laid to rest, all that's left is me, a lie. Before I knew, I began wondering about the future. When? Tell me, when? When will I fall in love? Once I find someone who loves me, I'll finally be given a name. Not just someone else's substitute, but a name all my own. That's what I decided. So then why? Why did I have to meet him?
Him?
He lived on a cliff face that looked down on the town. His features were considered striking, his posture regal. But those weren't the only things that made me stop in my tracks. I didn't really need a reason, because to him, it didn't matter what bell I put on. Nothing would change the fact that I was nothing. A bell with 2 stripes of light pink lay at his feet. It didn't belong to him. The bell, like his love, was waste on the street. His features knew despair. You could see the hollowness of death in his eyes. No matter how much I stared or spoke, he never once looked back at me.
Why is that?
I gingerly pick up the rosy pink bell. Its soft sound should be enough to reach his ears, stir his heart, and open his eyes. Then, in a husky voice, he will speak in a tone drowning with emotion. He will call out the name of his past love.
Maria?
And I'll choke up with emotion and smile as I say, "That's right. I'm your Maria." And then there won't be any real me left in this world.
Please, tell me your real name.
I giggle softly and answer again. I'm Maria. His brow will surely furrow as he snuggles close.
That's not your name. It can't be.
But that's the name of your beloved, right? I loved you. But the one that you loved was never me at all. You loved the real owner of this pink bell. Imagine it. A rival whom even death couldn't kill. The one woman he really loved. I hated her, cursed her, and stole her name and identity.
Whoa.
And I do it no matter how miserable it makes me.
Whoa.
Oh, Maria. If we'd never met, then I'm sure I'd have rotted away right on the spot.
Those are the only words that can bring me salvation now. As long as you're happy, then I'll never need a silly name. A storm was brewing. The high winds that had been beating on the windows since morning gathered dark clouds and pelted the forest trees. I leapt from the safety of the old woman's blanket, raced through the town, and headed for the mountain cottage.
Old woman's blanket?
My old hideout. I'd take a bell and think about the past each time I came here. I go by many names now. So whose ghost remains in this dreary mountain hut? A brilliant flash of light, coupled with thunder, filled the sky. Every hair on my body stood on end. There was a tearing sound of wood splitting. Chills ran down my spine. I quickened my pace without thinking. A tremor crept down my back. The scene that greeted me as I reached that hut was indescribable. A massive cloud of smoke clogged my nose and burned my skin.
Did you get hit by the lightning?
The mountain was on fire, and the gusty winds helped spread the flames quickly. In my panic, I dove into the hut. The heat was as hot as stoked coals, but through the burning and stench, I knew I had to salvage my bells. They'd been proof that the girls had lived, and now they were the one place I felt at home. I gathered the 7 bells and made for my escape, but the hut entrance was already engulfed in flames. I leapt through a broken window, feeling as though I was being burned alive. I could hear the destruction all about me. Just outside the window was the cliff face. I jumped down from my perch, prepared to take the dive. Through it all, I kept the 7 bells tightly held in my mouth.
The 7 bells, huh? There's a continuation for this story. Hopefully we'll be able to find it later. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. So I don't know. I don't think she's Maria. I don't think she's Maria.